Have you ever wondered what English football would be like if the big six clubs all got deleted? Well, hang around and find out in this video, because that's exactly what I've done in Football Manager 2024. So that's exactly what I've done. I've gone into the pre-game editor for Football Manager 2024 and removed the big six English clubs. So that's Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and Tottenham, who are a big six club, apparently. So you can see from the season preview that Newcastle are the odds-on favourite, Villa, Brighton, West Ham to fill out the top four. Other clubs have been moved up the pyramid, so we've moved up six clubs basically all the way up the pyramid. So you can see here, I've also got rid of every single player from their squad, all of their staff members. They've all no longer contracted the club. They're still in the game. I mean, the club's still in the game, so that the European and the international competitions don't break, but they don't have any players, so they won't do anything. Wonderful for them. You can see here that Manchester United, Liverpool, Manchester City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, we're going to go through them all. They've got no players, they've got no staff. They're going to basically fold off into obscurity. If you want to play this database, the download will be linked on my Patreon page, as will the 10-year simmed save file, so you can basically pick up 10 years in, like we're going to look at the end of this video. If you want them, subscribe to the Patreon. There'll be one free database from a previous experiment. All other databases and save files from experiments are going to be on there. Thank you very much for anyone who has already subscribed or anyone who subscribes in the future, and enjoy all of the perks that you'll find over there. So as you can see, I'm looking through the rest of the divisions. You can see we've moved up extra teams to fill out the gaps in all of the divisions, all the way down to the Vanarama National League North and National League South. As you can see, if we go all the way back to the Premier League, Newcastle are the odds-on favourites. Middlesbrough, Sunderland, Coventry have all been promoted, and the relegated sides, so Leicester, Leeds and Southampton, haven't gone down. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to simfold the first season, have a look at what happens and see where all of the free agents go from the big six, see who signs them, see how many of them club together or other clubs. And then once we've done that, we'll simulate 10 seasons and have a look at what the world looks like in 10 years' time. Now, the big six clubs have all disappeared, and how many titles Newcastle and Everton have won, because they've got loads of money. Let's find out. So we are now one season through. Newcastle have unsurprisingly won the league. Villa, Palace, Brentford all getting Champions League football. Brighton, Fulham and Wolves already getting there. The three sides that were extra promoted went down, so Luton and Everton survived. Burnley, Forest, everyone else like that, Sheffield United all stayed up. But Newcastle are, again, odds-on favourite to win the league. And see some of the players who have been signed by the clubs. I saw Rashford in there at Newcastle. So I'll have a look at the Newcastle squad, see who they've signed. You can see Rashford is their key player, so he's signed on a free transfer. Eddie Howe obviously still manager because he's won the league. We'll have a look at who they've signed. Anyone jumping out? So Højbjerg, Lisandro Martinez, Cody Gakpo, Moises Caicedo, Rashford, Thiago, Sancho all coming in January. Ben Chilwell coming in as well on a free. So their best 11, obviously Rashford's in there. Most of the most of the Newcastle players are in there, but you can see a few coming through from their free transfer signings. I'm going to be interested to find out where some of the world's best players have gone. So Rashford's obviously gone to Newcastle and made a name for himself already, won a league title. Manchester United obviously haven't got anyone there anymore. Let's have a look where Haaland's gone. He's the big key one. He's gone to Barcelona, so that's going to work out quite well for him. He's got 4 and 4. I think that means he only came in January if he's only played 4 games, but we'll have a proper look at that in a second. Salah is also at Barcelona. That's a scary prospect. With Lewandowski as well. Let's have a look at their squad quickly. Obviously, they've got Lamine Yamal, Vitor Roque, Gavi, Pedri, Ansu Fati's still there as well. They've got loads. Aaron Ramsdale's gone to Barcelona to sit on the bench by the look of things. If we go through, Bruno Fernandes is also there. They picked up a lot of the free agents from the Premier League's big six. Obviously, Salah and Haaland being the key ones to join Lewandowski up top. We still had a really good season. Jack Grealish gone to Barcelona as well. He's made a big free transfer signing. Did they win the Champions League? No, they didn't win the Champions League. So who won the Champions League then? PSG won the Champions League. Let's have a look who they've stolen from the former Big Six in the Premier League. We'll have a look at Real Madrid as well. I'm probably buying because they're one of the other big clubs. I'd expect to have made some transfers out of that batch of players. who have suddenly become available. So if we look at PSG, obviously Mbappe's there. They've signed Heung-min Son, Saka, Alisson, James, Declan Rice, Odegaard, De Bruyne. They've got a lot of really good players at PSG now from the Premier League. Odegaard here, let's have a quick look at him. They've got Rodri as well. He's gone from Arsenal to PSG. PSG have got a nice, good side to try and compete with the Champions League. Obviously, they won the Champions League in the first season. What about Real Madrid? Obviously, they've got Jude Bellingham, Gabriel Jesus, Luis Diaz, Trent is there, Saliba, Akanji, Martinelli. They picked up some good players as well. Obviously, there's a lot of good players floating around now at free agents, so it's good to see that they've all found homes around Europe. Some of them will have gone to the Premier League as well, but quite a lot will have made big money moves to European sides. So we have a quick look, see if we missed anyone else at Barcelona. So Jorginho, Emerson Royal, Salah, Ramsdale, Fernandes, Grealish, Haaland in January, as we suspected. So that's quite a late move. He's taken until the 10th of January to find himself a new club, probably because no one can afford to pay his wages. But there we go. So Barcelona have got a really dangerous looking side. Let's have a Bayern. Obviously Harry Kane is there. If we have a look at who else has come in, Phil Foden, Enzo Fernandez, Alexis McAllister. There's some big names obviously joining the German Bundesliga at Bayern. That is, obviously I've not got all of the European leagues loaded. I've only got English leagues loaded for this experiment to make it a bit quicker simulating through. But plenty of these players have gone to the continent to find themselves in a Champions League semi-final immediately off the bat, which suggests I'm not going to find any English clubs winning the Champions League anytime soon. But we'll have a look. We'll go forward 10 seasons now and see how many times Newcastle can win that title and see who else can get the job done. 10 seasons in then, and Newcastle have won all bar 2 of the Premier League titles. So they've won first 5, then Villa took a title final after being running up for 5 seasons. Newcastle won 3 more on the bounce, and then West Ham have won the most recent campaign. Let's have a look at this Newcastle squad then, and we'll have a look at their best 11 because that's probably going to be the way to find who has been there and done well for them. So if we look at their overall best 11, you can see Caicedo, Jeremy Pino, Rashford, Guillaume Restes is there in their goalkeeper, Pierre Kalulu, Antonio Silva, Diamonde. They've got lots of good players coming through, not just on the bench, obviously Gakpo and Sancho and Evan Ferguson, so not just players from the big 6 Premier League clubs. Because they've started to dominate in England, they've been able to sign many more players as well from around Europe and the rest of the world. Villa have won a title. They've got Savio, Donnarumma's there as well, so he's obviously been ousted at PSG by someone, but Martinez is their first choice goalkeeper throughout the save. Who else have they got? So let's have a look. Savio Rasmus Højlund's there. He never went to Manchester United because they just got binned off. And Nketiah is also, was also their striker. He's now gone to Damac. Looking at the bench, Darwin Núñez on the bench. Donnarumma has gone via Saudi Arabia to go to Aston Villa, so he's obviously got ousted at PSG by someone. We might have a look at that if we remember to in a few minutes. Right, so that's the Aston Villa side. What about West Ham, who have just won the Premier League title? Brentford have got a couple of second places and a couple of third places as well. It was interesting to know, actually, Eddie Howe and Unai Emery still managers at their respective clubs. Let's have a look at this West Ham side. So Gvardiol's there, Ward-Prowse, Kai Havertz has joined them. Not many, Tino Livramento, Rafinha, and there's not many big names coming through to West Ham from the sides that have just disappeared. So it's interesting to see. So Gvardiol's gone to PSG at some point as well in the future of this save. So that's the West Ham side who've just won the Premier League. Let's have a look who's won the Ballon d'Or and where they were playing at when they did so. So the first season, obviously Mbappe's won it with his PSG teammate Saka in second place. Bernardo Silva at Brighton has won a Ballon d'Or. Has anyone from Brighton ever won a Ballon d'Or? Probably not. Mbappe, Salah and Foden are still at PSG, at Bayern Munich there. Rashford at Newcastle has won one, beating Mbappe and Lautaro Martinez. Haaland still doesn't win. He finishes second place in a lot of them, but he does not win a Ballon d'Or despite being at Barcelona. So that means there's been too much competition at Barcelona because he's got Lamine Yamal, Salah, Lewandowski, all of these great players lurking around in the Barcelona side. Not quite doing enough is Haaland to get himself a Ballon d'Or. Right, let's have a look at who's won the Champions League. So I'm going to put a prediction out that no English side has managed to win it, and if they have, it will be Newcastle. So PSG, Real, Bayern, Barca, unsurprisingly dominant. PSG, Real, Porto winning a title. That's good good for them. Well done. They've got Luis Guilherme. He's a good Brazilian. I'm sure I've featured him on a video in the past. And then Real Madrid have won the most recent, beating Porto in the final again. So do we think that the English leagues have dropped down the coefficient rankings in Europe? I'm going to say they're going to still be in the top 5. That's for sure. Yes, they're still second. Okay, so they might not have won any Champions League, but they're still doing enough to get into the most qualification places. So still 4 in the Champions League, 2 and 1 in the Europa League and Conference League respectively. 8th overall in the world rankings for England. Looking through these best players, Barcelona absolutely dominant on the best top players in Europe list. So why haven't they won more? Well, who knows. Let's have a look back at the Premier League then finally to wrap things up. We can see here there's no real unsurprising clubs in the Premier League. If you get rid of the top 6, they're all pretty much sides you'd expect to feature in the Premier League at one point or another. Same with the Championship really. Wrexham in the Championship now. Blackburn not in the Championship, they're in League One. Fantastic, wonderful. That's not too unsurprising. Well, Mansfield in League One as well. No massive shocks with any teams knocking around. Obviously, we've only gone 10 seasons forward, but getting rid of the Big Six has not really made a massive impact on the teams in the various leagues. Looking at the season preview for season number 10, so this is where you can pick up if you download the save game file of 10 seasons in. West Ham are predicted to retain their title, but only just ahead of Newcastle. Brentford, Wolves, Middlesbrough predicted for the top 5. So there you have it. That is what the Premier League looks like with the Big 6 teams deleted. I'm going to do a similar video for all of the rest of the big leagues around Europe. So Italy, Spain, Germany and France, getting rid of all the big teams and seeing what chaos can be called. And I might even do a final video where I do it for all of the big 5 nations and just see how mad the world looks. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe over on Patreon as well if you want the downloads. If you don't, just keep watching the videos anyway. They're fantastic. You're fantastic. I will see you on the next one. Much love.